Welcome to the Aerospace Executive Podcast, featuring in-depth conversations with executives, leaders, influencers, and journalists in this dynamic, high-stakes industry. Hosted by Craig Pickett, founder of Northstar Group, the boutique executive search firm for the aerospace industry. You'll learn how top aerospace executives are developing their people, competing for talent, overcoming challenges, and adjusting to industry trends to drive growth and profits. And now, let's join your host, Craig Pickett.
Welcome back to the Aerospace Executive Podcast. Today I've got Matt Johnson back on with me. Matt is my good friend, producer. He's also a fellow podcaster. He's got the UX podcast. Has some great guests on there all the time. So, really solid marketing and business leadership topics. So, make sure you look up Matt Johnson and UX podcast as well. But today we're here to talk about, get your guns up, Matt, Texas Tech, and the great run they had at the NCAA finals, which was incredible. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a Texas Tech fan. Graduated from there. For 30 years, I watched them lose. It was the one year. Actually, 2 years in a row. They made it to the Elite Eight last year. They made it to the finals this year. It's interesting how they're really becoming very competitive in all sports in the Big 12.
Yes, as a Husker fan, formerly of the Big 12, I've watched the ascension of Texas Tech, at least from the football side, and just watched a great video that really broke down the Mike Leach coaching tree. And so I've been kind of a distanced Texas Tech fan for that reason, but I never got into the basketball side. So let's talk about some of the takeaways, because we're also in an environment where Tiger Woods just the weekend before we're recording this, just so that you understand the context we're talking about, Tiger Woods has just won his latest Masters, which nobody expected. I mean, we talk about a dark horse. That was flabbergasted the sports world. So that's kind of the environment that we're talking in. So lessons from Tiger Woods and Texas Tech. So first of all, what were your takeaways from the Texas Tech game?
So here's a couple of takeaways, and here's the way I look at it. I go, you know what? Chuck Yeager used to always say, give me a good pilot and a mediocre airplane, and I'll beat a mediocre pilot and a great airplane all day long. Basically, what he was saying was coaching, skills, and practice, takes all.
Yeah.
And, people that practice their craft and, great teamwork, it's amazing what they can accomplish. And, I know people get tired of the sports analogies, but I kind of like them because I think sports and business are very much synonymous in a lot of ways. But I think you get a team that was predicted to be 7th in the Big 12, and all of a sudden everybody's looking at them and they're going, wait a minute, these guys are really good. And they watch them more and more and more. I watched them all season long. I watched every game. And I'm thinking, man, they got great teamwork. They work well together. They mesh well together. They've got some superior coaching that's competitive, and they take it to new heights. And my business analogy there, and then same thing with Tiger Woods. The guy comes out of nowhere. In fact, he was at a dinner and he looks at his fellow golfers and says, "I think I'm done." But he's competitive as hell. And I'm like, look, you take people that are in their cubes, in the corner somewhere, they're competitive, they're good. They just want to be coached. They want to play on a good team. They want to do well and succeed. And if they are allowed to do well and succeed, they can be – it's always that dark horse that comes up and bites you. And it comes up and bites you. I mean, you think about so I look at Tiger. I look at Texas Tech. Two people that nobody came. Then I kind of equate that to the retail apocalypse now. Mall owners throughout the country are now dying on the vine because every retail shops are nobody ever saw it coming.
Yeah.
So I think what it is it's a great great lesson for companies to be saying, hey, you need to always be looking over your shoulder because you don't know who's going to come up and bite you in the butt tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, I think it's, if you look at new technology innovations and how they kind of get rolled out into the marketplace, and how the flat part of that S curve is when they first come out with a new innovation, like almost by definition, you look at that and go, that'll never really matter. That'll never amount to anything. It's too small. It's too small of a percentage of the market, or it won't quite work. It's not, the technology's not there yet. It's easy to dismiss those things, just like the same way Texas Tech was dismissed as a team. And the next thing you know, you've gotten beat.
Their competitor. I look at 10 years ago, oil was trading $150 a barrel.
Okay.
And the offshore oil companies were CHC Helicopter, Bristow Helicopter, Petroleum Helicopter Inc., PHI. All of the helicopter services companies were buying up every helicopter. They were ordering more. A whole new industry was coming in the helicopter leasing side.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody bothered to ask, what happens if oil falls to $50, $40, or $30? Or what happens if this fracking thing in West Texas really comes on hard?
Right.
Well, all of a sudden, CHC Helicopter reorganized in bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
PHI just reorganized in bankruptcy. Bristow's got one foot in the grave. 2 helicopter leasing companies have had to reorganize in bankruptcy because nobody asked the question.
Yeah.
So, it makes me just think that, hey, look, it's always good to have 1 or 2 contrarians on your team going, hey, guys, I know this. I know it's all well and good. And, the sky is blue today, but what happens if it starts raining tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, we were talking a little bit about this before we hit record, that there's a great, it's not a direct quote, I'm going to paraphrase it, but we were joking around about this because it's so true, and you've seen this in action, which is the Warren Buffett quote that basically it's extremely difficult for anyone in the C-suite or even on the board to say something that doesn't confirm what the CEO is already doing and thinking. Mm-hmm. And you've seen this, you were talking about with GE, it's and that's not obviously the first example either.
I think GE is a great example. I mean, I think Jack Welch created the finance side of the business, and he made it hum. And, a lot of GE's growth and profits were because GE became a major player in financing airplanes, financing heavy equipment, things like that. Then ML takes over, and all of a sudden, the banking crisis hits, and 2007, 8, and 9. All of a sudden, new regulations totally changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't go down the finance. They were becoming a too big to fail entity, and the banking community was going to change the way they did business. So all of a sudden, ML has to play by different rules.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the end of the day, nobody on the board of directors, they went and did a bunch of stupid things. They bought, Alstom Power, even though the deal got worse and worse every day they woke up.
Mm-hmm.
None of the board of directors. I look at GE is a $9 stock now, and I'm still not buying it. And I look at there were 12 captains of industry, supposedly backing up InMelt, and not one of them spoke up and said, what happens if they rubber stamped everything?
Yeah.
And look, GE as a company, I'll tell you right now, they're so incredibly smart. I mean, I talked to some GE executives, in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
They're unbelievably smart. And I feel bad for them because I think they got damaged by bad leadership. A CEO who, just wanted to make the deal happen, and a board of directors who wanted to rubber stamp it. Things went south, and now you got a whole company of people who are kind of trying to pick up the mess. And look, I feel bad for it. So I think it just comes down to there should always be somebody going, what if? And they may be jerks. The guy who's walking on the left side of the road, everybody just wants to beat the crap out of him. Yeah. And maybe that person serves a purpose. And just getting things to think a little bit differently.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I mean, I understand that the structure of bureaucracy tends to fight that, and what you end up with is a rubber stamping organization. It takes a really strong leader to not be so strong that you shut out all voices that contradict what you say. Like it takes someone that's very, very secure in their own strategic thinking to allow there to be people on, like, in their inner circle that strongly disagree. Because a lot of times that comes down to not just differences in how you analyze the situation, it's differences in values. For example, bean counters versus sales guys, that's an easy one. They have different values. At the fundamental level of who they are as a person, they have different values of what's important and what's not. And it's really easy as a leader to kind of start shutting those people out of the door and not allowing them into the inner circle because they don't share your values. But yeah, you're right. It's healthy to have those people, even if their only function is to ask the outrageous questions that don't come naturally to you as a leader.
Right. Well, I think that look, I've been a salesperson all my life, and there's, I always love it. There's reality, and then there's sales reality, and the two don't.
It's like, we can ship that tomorrow. It's going to be awesome.
The sales guy comes in and says, hey, look, I got this great deal, great customer, great deal. And then you got the CFO or the finance person who's looking at it and go, man, the margins are really thin on this. Like, but the guy's going to buy more, and the guy's going to buy more. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey, look, the salespeople always call it the anti-sales team.
Right.
And, I think about it like, look, the sales guy deal that doesn't make any money isn't worth doing. If you're not going to make any money off it, let's not do the deal.
Yeah.
So the sales, we'll call it the sales support team, i.e. the finance guys, are the ones that can come back, and the sales guy always says, but they're going to buy 20 more of these things. Well, okay, 20 more at what price? Or are they going to be? Are they going to be this thin? Because then we got 20 bad deals. Or is it going to be we sell them one at thin margin, and then they're going to buy the rest at retail? That's a different scenario. Mm-hmm. So that's where the teamwork comes in, and the coaching and the teamwork. It's like, hey, look, nobody's trying to stop commerce here, but let's analyze this thing and see if we can't get a better solution or a better conclusion. Mm-hmm. And that's the deal, that it shouldn't be competing P&Ls. It shouldn't be the finance guys are always screwing up my deal, or the sales guys are always bringing in crappy deals, because look, salespeople have to deal with customers, and they're getting beat up, and finance people have to deal with the aftermath, and they're getting beat up. And I get it. And what there's
everybody feels beat up.
Well, look, I could. That's. But, we're exaggerating here. Okay. But there's got to be this teamwork that sits there and says, hey, look, the goal of the organization is we're trying to get to here. Now we can, let's help each other get to where we need to be.
Yeah.
And if you want to be, I think, contrarians, if contrarians are telling the emperor he's got no clothes, one, you better have enough confidence to be right and say, okay, you got no clothes, and here's why. But that takes a lot of courage too. I mean, sometimes sticking your neck out is not something a lot of people are willing to do. So I think maybe the new culture is, hey, look, we want people to, we want people to be part of the team. We want people to support the team. But hey, look, if you see something going wrong, raise your hand and let's talk about it without judgment.
Yeah. There's a great book called Seeking Wisdom, From Darwin to Munger. It's about Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner. It just made a great point, which is that for most people, most executives, it is easier to be conventionally wrong than unconventionally right, and that's a tough battle to fight. Tough battle to fight. So if somebody wants to, if they are the fresh blood, or somebody wants to bring in fresh blood, how do they reach out? How do they connect and make sure they're putting the right people in the right seats on the bus?
Give me a call, 910-509-7129. Email is Craig@Northstar ESG. New website coming, Matt. Can't wait.
It's going to be good, because that's a great place for people to go. You've been blogging there for years. You've always talked about your views and opinions on what's going on in the industry at large. So you talk about way more than just the war for great talent. This is also about just what's going on in the industry. We just did an episode on the Boeing issue. Like, there's all kinds of stuff there that's going to be on the website.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, look, it's you can always tell when had one too many cups of Starbucks. The blog goes crazy. But
I was not expecting Starbucks. I was thinking a nice Scotch neat, but maybe.
No. I don't drink any. I don't drink much anymore. No Scotch neats. Just the big. I don't know what is it. The venti.
You substituted a venti latte for
the monster Starbucks sometimes too.
Oh man, so that's when the blog goes crazy. All right, well, everybody should go check that out. We appreciate everybody listening. Craig, this is a lot of fun. I love these solo episodes. These are a blast, and thank you so much for doing them.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.